It's time to babble the fuck on.
Should we do a little geek news? You want to do a little geek news?
Fuck yeah, man.
Ralph and Kev's Geek News.
How about those Super Pets, huh? Leading the box office this week. DC
well.
League of Super Pets, number one at the box office with a $23 million opening last weekend. It's pretty impressive.
I didn't see it, but the trailers are adorable.
Looks pretty cute.
Yeah.
Nope. Universal's Nope was number two at the box office this week. Then Marvel's Thor, Love and Thunder, Minions, Rise of Gru, and Top Gun Maverick still hanging in the top five.
Yeah, it's the summer of Top Gun, man.
Maybe they should have animated Batgirl. Maybe then they would have released it.
The fuck, right? Are we talking about this?
Yeah, it's fucking shocking to me. On behalf of everyone who worked on that show for months of their lives and gave their energies and talents, spent $90 million to make a piece of work, and I don't care what they think it is in terms of how successful the end result was or not. Those people have earned a right to show what they've done to people, in my opinion. I may be wrong.
Absolutely. But time was in this business. Look, you make art for somebody else. They pay for it. They get to do with it.
I get it. I
as they
understand.
want.
I
But
understand the economics of it.
That being said, there was a time when, like, the fucking worst thing a director had to worry about is like, oh, maybe they don't take it theatrical. Maybe it goes straight to video. Now they've just added a new fear to the mix, which is like, we may not release it at all. Like, and never in any form. In order for them to do what they're going to do with this, which is write it down. There's a window because of the merger between Warner Brothers and Discovery. There's all sorts of tax loopholes that they only could take advantage of in this moment in time when the merger is happening. One of them allows for them to literally write off a $90 million movie and get a $20 million write-down, which seems to me like you're fucked yourself out of $70 million, but whatever. But in order to do that, the movie can never see the light of day.
Right.
Because
Can't
if
make
it
dollar
does,
one.
it gets monetized instantly, and then the fucking deal is off. They have to give all the tax money back and shit. So this ain't even a case of like, you know, remember fucking release the Snyder Cut. They were able to effectively get that movie fucking out there. Nobody can do that with this movie.
Right.
In order for them to pull off this fucking business deal. So there's a guy named, what is his name? David Zaslav?
Yeah,
Zaslav. He's the dude that was running Discovery, and in this merger he was given Warner Brothers, and you know, he's made a bunch of fucking decisions in the last, I mean, we're hearing about it in the last 48 hours, but clearly they've been going on for a minute. They're trying to cut $3 billion after the merger of the two companies.
There's been enormous bloodletting in terms of human resources as well.
And there's going to be more because they're going after HBO Max. They said they're laying off 70% of the development workforce. And I don't give a fuck. I got no skin in the game. Like, I buy every streaming service and shit because I can write it off because that's what I do for a living. It's part of my business and stuff. So I'm not one of the person who like goes like, oh, I got to figure out which one. I get them all because it's part of what I do. So I got no skin in the game. No like, you know, this one over that one. I will say this: HBO Max is a superior product to most streamers. Like, they've got an incredible selection. The interface is perfect. There's always something to fucking watch. I never put it on and go like, well, fucking nothing here. I can't understand why they would fuck with this when to me it feels like they got the number 2 streamer on the planet.
I agree.
Right below. I don't mean in terms of subscriptions, but like, you know, Netflix set the table and they're the gold standard. But like, HBO Max, I thought, did an incredible job in a brief period of time. And when they launched, it was like haphazard and fucking, they found their way.
It was almost a joke. It was like, oh, they just want to, you know, Wonder Woman, the second Wonder Woman. It's the only reason this thing exists, pretty much. And then it became this great thing.
Something else. Now, a lot of what they keep pointing out in the press is a lot of the shows that you love aren't HBO Max shows. They're HBO shows that HBO Max also shows. And those were two completely separate entities, oddly enough. So Peacemaker, of course, being one of them. I think Peacemaker is an HBO Max show. It's a Max show. So it feels like, based on all the articles I read, and then they did an earnings call, so they did articles about that. I ain't got no inside information or anything, just know what everybody else knows. But what I've seen, I do know one other thing, which I do know an inside thing, and I'll tell you in a second. But based on the shit I read, this new guy is just like, all DC is going to be theatrical.
Right.
He seems to have a bias against the televised version of it. They've said that they're going to model themselves after what Disney did with Marvel, but I would submit to you that Marvel does television shows. Very successful, very fucking expensive ones on their own streaming network, which make people want to tune in.
Yeah.
So I know we'll never see it, and we got to take people's word for it and shit like that, but like apparently they said like Batgirl needed a lot of help, and rather than put more money into it, was supposed to be a $75 million movie. It went to 90. They decided, fuck it. And just, it's never going to see the light of day.
Yeah.
Apparently that's happening with a lot of fucking projects across the boards.
A lot of people are nervous about some of their favorite projects, whether they're going to continue on a second season
the
of
Harley
this,
Quinn
whether it will
cartoon, because they've also kind of deprioritized animation. Kids animation, they haven't said adult animation, but a lot of people are waiting to see if the Venture Brothers movie ever fucking gets made.
Creators are having to come out to reassure their fans, oh, don't worry, we're okay. James Gunn had to do it with Peacemaker's second season.
Yeah.
And who else had to... the Flash producer said that feature film's still safe. Inexplicably.
To me, that is the baffling thing. It's like, I don't give a shit how bad the Batgirl movie is. Nobody in that movie very complicated or have anything in their real life that you have to market around. But in the Flash movie, we all know there's a big problem.
Yeah, Flash is a supervillain. That's the problem.
Flash is the reverse Flash in real life. But I was involved. Now, HBO Max, I don't just say nice things about it for this reason. I was loving before I was involved with them. But I got paid by those cats within the last year. The good folks at Berlanti reached out to me 2 years ago, and I'd done a bunch of episodes for Supergirl and Flash. And so Sarah over there was like, hey, HBO Max, we're going to do a new show with HBO Max. And I was like, oh, right on, because normally they do all their shit with CW. And this is like as HBO Max was emerging. And I said, what is it? And she says, it's a DC Comics show. It's called Strange Adventures. And Strange Adventures in the DC Comics is the title where Adam Strange came from.
Yeah.
They were using it as an anthology series. It was meant to be a DC Comics anthology series for all of the characters that aren't Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, all the very famous characters. DC has a treasure trove of what they call IP, or what we just used to call comic book characters, that they would love to, get out there rather than just doing the same stories over and over. So they asked me what I wanted to do, and they gave me a list of characters that I could choose from, and I chose 2 characters on the list to create a story about, and it was Jimmy Olsen and the Daily Planet and Bizarro. Yes. And me and Eric Carrasco, who was a good friend of mine who wrote the Supergirl episodes I did and also wrote on Masters of the Universe with me for season 1. Him and I wrote this script that we were one story. Like when Sarah pitched it to me, she was like, we're doing Strange Adventures and we would love you to write and direct one. And I was like, oh, great. And having worked on the CW shows, I assumed it was like a $3 to $4 million production. So I was like, well, this is great. I said, I normally don't like to do fucking big stuff. I would never do a superhero movie, but I could do, $3-4 million. This is my comfort range and shit. And she goes, no, it's more than that. These are $16 to $20 million shows.
Per episode?
And I was like, what are you talking? I was like, can I talk to you people? You're being financially irresponsible. Look, I like Jimmy Olsen, but $20 million? What are you, nuts? But that's what they were going for. Everyone was like, fucking, we got to get the shows that make people tune in.
Like Marvel.
So the previous regime was just like, we're doing Strange Adventures. So we were writing one that I was going to direct. Then there were 4 other creative teams that were also writing. Some of the characters that were up for grabs were Ragman, Boston Brand, Dead Man. Who else? I can't remember off the top of my head. But so it was, we turned in 3 drafts of the fucking script. They loved our fucking script. And we were waiting for the other scripts of the other creatives to come in before they were going to figure out their first season. But we were on deck for the first one. And the story was a Superman-less story. which if anyone saw my Masters of the Universe, I know how to take the main character out altogether.
Make a lot of people happy in the process.
Everyone loves that sort
Yeah,
of
they
thing.
like it. Do more of that.
So it was a story about it was essentially the Bizarro secret origin, and they took Bizarro wound up taking Jimmy Olsen and Perry White, that was my other character, to Bizarro World, a version of Bizarro World, and he didn't appear as like me, I'm Superman. He appeared as a guy in an old Superman costume, like George Reeves or something like that. And slowly over the episode, he was a guy who essentially was a paranormal god in a different dimension. And into that dimension one day, an edition of the Daily Planet had been sent through a teleporter, an experiment in Metropolis. It wound up into this voidless dimension where this being tried to replicate the world of the Daily Planet, which includes stories about Superman. And he set himself up as Superman. So everybody there is like, we love Superman, but as soon as his back is turned, they're like, help us. So the character slowly over the course of the episode would, the veneer would fall. And there was a rebellion that was growing within this fake metropolis where they would put backwards S's up on the wall to warn people about, he's not what you think he is, and that's where the backwards S came from. And then slowly he became, over the course of the episode, Bizarro. And then came back to Metropolis and fought outside the Daily Planet. The opening scene had a giant toy soldier that was frozen outside the Daily Planet because Toyman had attacked the day before. So that plays in the finale and shit like that. And then at the end, he winds up doing something fairly heroic. He comes as a monster, but winds up saving a fucking child and finally gets to be the Superman he always wanted to be, and then takes off and stuff like that. And they're like, I wonder if we'll ever see him again. And at the very end, the PS scene was him at the edge of nowhere, just by himself. And, a pair of boots land beside him. And it's just like, I hear you did a really good thing, in where I come from and stuff. And he was like, hi, I'm Cal. I'd like to be your friend and stuff. And he was like, friend. So it was really kind of sweet, kind of touching and shit like that. I tell you all this and the entire story just to tell you that the person who was, we didn't lock it in, he wasn't signed to a contract, but the person that we were pursuing to play Bar Bizarro was Nicolas Cage. So I can't bitch. I've been very fortunate in life. As I said earlier, I don't know if you heard this, but I'm buying a movie theater. So things work out for me, generally speaking. This was always a 1,000,000 to 1 shot. I couldn't believe they even asked me to do it. But me and Eric wrote a terrific fucking script. And it was heading toward production. It wasn't even wish fulfillment. This was something they were going to do.
Is there a connection between that story and what we're hearing about HBO Max?
Yes, because this happened.
I said fearfully.
This was killed definitely by the new regime.
No way.
Absolutely.
So it's not going to happen.
I don't know this for a fact, but I also haven't heard anything about the Green Lantern series that they were supposedly doing. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a casualty too. There were a lot of DC-oriented programs because that's what the regime prior to this new regime at Warner Brothers, or now Warner Brothers Discovery, was committed all in to look, we got HBO Max, we're going to do fucking DC stuff here, we're going to do DC stuff in the movies, and they'll cross over and shit. And this new guy is just no, just for the movies, nothing for HBO Max. And it feels like they announced in 2023 HBO Max and Discovery Plus are combining to become one app, and HBO Max will cease to exist. That ain't even going to be its name anymore.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you build such a strong brand and a great product only to literally destroy it? This ain't CNN Plus, which this same guy destroyed the week that he took over. They opened CNN Plus, didn't have great numbers and shit, but 1 week later this dude killed it, and they said in the press it might have been spite for the previous regime for starting this before he took over. He was like, why would you do such a fucking thing? And he killed a multi-million-dollar fucking initiative. So if he was willing to kill CNN Plus, it's really no long walk to be like, well, we don't need this Batgirl movie either. It's a really bad look, though, I say. Never mind how much money you could fucking save, but I don't mean to be this guy, and I'm not, I know a lot of people online are like, go woke, go broke and shit like that, but it's an incredibly bad look to cancel the Latina Batgirl movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
When Ezra Miller's out holding people up at gunpoint.
I don't give a shit if the movie was absolute fucking dog shit, man. They spent, and it was. I guarantee you, it wasn't. The two directors who directed that movie did a couple episodes of Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful fucking show. You know, great looking, and they had more money to do Batgirl than they had to do an episode of Ms. Marvel and stuff. So.
And Warner Brothers should know they make a ton of shitty superhero movies to make a lot of money.
And yes, and also like not for nothing, but like how could it be? I love all the CW shows, but the CW shows like show their budgetary constraints.
Mm-hmm.
And the big complaint they said here is like, well, it wasn't big enough to be a fucking theatrical release, so you know it looked too cheap because it was a $90 million movie. How do you make a cheap looking $90 million fucking movie? But if it looked like slightly better than an episode of fucking Arrow, why couldn't we have seen that?
Right.
And it feels like there's more than just like we're gonna save $20 million. Like I don't know, man. They also killed the Supergirl movie they were working on.
Yeah.
They've said as well. So
and the Wonder Twins. It never really pissed me off. So I wanted to see
that was the thing.
Jan and Xena, or Jan and Jaina, or whatever the fuck their names are.
We cheered when he killed that. We were like, that's good fucking thinking. And then he started, going after shit we wanted. And now it's like,
they came for us.
Exactly. Yeah. Fucking, we should have spoke up in the beginning.
Yeah, right.
But it's crazy, man. I got, don't feel bad for me. I got paid. Me and Eric made a lot of money to write that script.
Probably used it to buy a theater. You could buy a movie theater with that kind of money.
A little bit, actually, a little bit. But yeah, it could have been a cool thing. So we're talking about taking over to DC, doing it as a comic book. Because we
great idea.
took the time to write the script. So it's like, let's give it to an artist and have him draw it. But yeah, man, it feels like what was once, to me, a very promising future of like, oh shit, we're going to see a bunch of DC stuff on HBO Max. More DC stuff than we were going to see theatrically, including shit like Strange Adventures. Gone. All of it's just fucking gone now. Got a call the other day from Eric before all this story broke, and he was just like, Strange Adventures is officially dead. I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? I mean, I know we hadn't heard from him in a little while, but I guess this goes part and parcel with the new moves that they were doing with the what's the guy's name? Zaslav?
Zaslav. Yeah.
But good Lord, I thought, the Strange Adventures being a casualty kind of made sense to me. I'm like, nobody necessarily knows these characters. Sounded like an expensive show. Who the fuck don't know Batgirl?
Right.
And more importantly, like, with all due respect to everyone in the cast, I'm sure they did a great job. Michael fucking Keaton came back as Batman, and now we're not going to fucking see that.
People are going to tune in just for that fact.
And it's starting to smell like we're not going to see him ever. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I know they said, like, Flash is safe, but I would not be surprised if this was them testing the water to be like, let's see what they say if we fucking cancel Batgirl. And if it doesn't go too badly, maybe we just fucking cancel Flash. Because it's problematic. How are they going to market that movie without, like, a leading actor to go out on the road and do press and stuff without people being like,
what have you been up to lately?
Yeah, I got a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
None of them have to do with the movie.
When you broke into that folks' house.
Good God. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on over there, but, like, it's tough to sometimes to be a DC fan and in the movie,
Especially when they announce, we're going to have a big 10-year plan, and we're going to roll out these films and tie them all together. And it's like, we've heard this before.
Exactly. They said that once before, and they showed us a plan once of all the movies that were coming out. Remember, there's going to be a Cyborg movie. I think that was supposed to come out before the Flash movie back in the day.
Yeah.
We're right around it. So yeah, I don't know, but I also saw a follow-up report that after that call, the stocks dropped.
Oh yeah, they're hurting
dramatically. Like, people weren't, inspired by that call. They weren't like, these are good business decisions. A bunch of people were like, what the fuck are you doing? So who knows? We'll see what happens. But there's a new guy over there. There's a new sheriff in town, and things are certainly different.
This is the Cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything.
Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers,